Now on NBA Inside Stuff, we'll profile the mighty Oak, New York Knicks All-Star forward Charles Oakley.
He's a real spiritual force out on the court.
After his accident, Bobby Hurley's part of a campaign for auto safety. And we'll take an inside look at the Indiana Pacers.
He don't want to guard you. All right? He don't want to be on the court with you.
Check this out.
The killer crossover.
What's up, what's up, what's up? The second time.
You like my hat?
Three.
Jordan on the drive.
Jam.
Did someone say jam session?
Here comes Sir Charles.
2, 1, liftoff.
Hold on, folks. Buckle up.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Willow Bay.
And I'm Ahmad Rashad. Today, I'll be talking to one of my all-time favorite players, a man who is solid as a rock, steady. He is the foundation, along with Patrick Ewing of the New York Knicks. He is Charles Oakley.
Also today, in case you're not an expert on dinosaurs, we'll tell you what a raptor is. Besides being a very fast dinosaur, it's also the name of Toronto's new NBA team. Last night, the three-time champion Chicago Bulls were facing the end of the line. Down 3-2 to the Knicks, they tried to stay alive in Game 6 at Chicago Stadium. Let's check out the highlights. With Chicago facing elimination, it was B.J. Armstrong getting the Bulls off and running.
For Armstrong. The Bulls are running the Knicks off the court at this point.
And Tony Kukoc would add salt to the Knicks' wounds.
Kukoc gives it back to Longley. Beautiful feed.
Greg Anthony, though, would beat the first-half buzzer to keep the Knicks close.
That's a three. It counts. And the foul. Potential four-point play by Greg Anthony.
The second half, the Bulls would step up the hustle, which would lead to some easy baskets.
Grant with the stuff.
Scotty's dunk would help the Bulls build an 18-point lead.
Oh, a faithful Scottie Pippen in the face of Patrick Ewing, who did not appreciate it.
Pat Ewing, though, would recover and keep the Knicks in the game.
And the Bulls lead by only 8.
But in the end, the Bulls would pull away, forcing Game 7 on Sunday.
Gives to Williams. Oh, that was beautifully done. Today, it's a doubleheader here on NBC with both Western Conference series going to a 7th and deciding game. It begins with the Suns and Rockets, followed by the Jazz against the Nuggets.
When you think of the New York Knickerbockers, you think of hard work, intensity, and toughness. That style is personified by one man, power forward Charles Oakley. He's had a tremendous season, making his first NBA All-Star team and the all-defensive team as well. But for the Oak man, that recognition was a long time coming. He's often been over.
I work hard, Dennis Rodman. A little guy like Muggsy Bogues, you know. You don't have to be the tallest, you don't have to be the biggest.
Of highlights, you will also see stuff flying all over the place. Everything from mouthpieces to sneakers. Also, how one man's old, smelly sneakers can be another man's good luck charm. Plus, the latest innovation in sports broadcasting. A gorilla running a camera. And even more strange, a player promising to dress up in a chicken suit in this edition of Rewind. Hey, move that towel. Oh, that's all right. It's my man Horace. Saturday, a coach has to do everything. As Dan Issel clears a mouthpiece off the court. Speaking of mouths, Brian Williams has a promise if Denver beats Utah.
Well, I said it. I'll run down I-25 in a chicken suit if we pull this out.
If he's going to run around like a chicken, he'll need his sneaker. It comes flying off as he goes for the rebound.
And a shoe. Look at his left shoe had been lost.
Tomorrow's lottery day, and the Bullets mascot Hoops is collecting 1,000 Lucky Charms.
Well, I got one more for you. A pair of shoes that they don't smell good now, but they'll smell better than you in about 3 days.
Sunday, the NBC camera crew is hard at work bringing you all the action. And, hey, I think I worked with that guy before. The Pacers have got it going on. They've got the league's best dance moves with Reggie Miller and Haywood Workman. They've got the best dancing fans. Well, not bad anyway. And Workman can't only dance, he can also block shots.
Blaylock releases. Elo spots him and Workman.
Hey, Goldie, look out, you're on camera. Hey, how about Reggie Williams' shot to win Game 4?
Reggie Williams, a 2. He hit it.
Tuesday, Atlanta trying to save their season. John Koncak saves the ball, gets it to Plastic Man Stacey Augmon, and the Hawks stay alive for now.
Great pass. Stacey Augmon.
And Dominique Wilkins was here to watch his old team. Meanwhile, the Bullocks' Don McClain named the league's most improved player, beating out Latrell Sprewell. Wednesday, Game 5 in New York, and things got a little confusing.
Williams rejected by Williams. Scott Williams stopped by Herb Williams. I thought you were stuttering, Mark.
The Knicks win. John Stark hits the reverse, then hits me with some high fives, even though I'm just an impartial observer. 1, 2, 3, John. Thursday, the Nuggets force a Game 7, and Dikembe Mutombo leads the cheers. George Foreman will do anything for a pizza, even knock somebody out for it. Finally, the quotes of the week. First, from the Hawks, Danny Manning. I can't tell you exactly what we need to do to win, but whatever it is, we have to do it. Guess they never did figure it out. And the Bulls' Tony Kukoc asked his secret to hitting a game-winning shot. He said, and I quote, "It's easy. I shoot the ball and hope it goes in." I'll repeat that so your young players can write it down. You got a pencil and a pad? Here it is. You shoot the ball and you hope it goes in. I'll have to try that sometime. Back with more stuff right after this.
Rewind is brought to you by the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it.
1977, Butterfly Collar. Walk outside with that on in San Antonio, now you'll burn up. Super George, tell us about that figure roll from the free throw line.
You know, that was my patented. That was my patented shot. One thing I could do was finger roll.
You brought it down.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
I'm a gracious host. Courteous.
It's a great pass. I don't know any guarder than John Stockton who can make that pass.
What a feed from Stockton. Oh, my.
Bausch & Lomb, the official contact lens of the NBA, presents Court Vision.
I don't even can begin to think how the eye works. Guess it might have something to do with your brain. I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, the eye is very similar to a camera lens. Light has to get to the back of the eye, the retina, and then that has to be processed. There's many different ways to test the eye. I'll put this at a good height for you. There's instruments that test whether the eye sees clearly or not. Okay, what's the smallest line that you can read? There's other instruments that test for glaucoma, and there's other instruments that allow us to look at the eye in a magnified way. Most athletes have excellent peripheral vision and side vision, and that allows them, especially in basketball, to have good court peripheral awareness and know where other players on their team are.
Here's Edwards, a pretty feed with 1.1 seconds.
You definitely have to have peripheral vision, and good peripheral vision, because you need to be able to see all on both sides. And definitely, if you have good peripheral vision, you can see from the corner of your eyes and see if someone's open, and you can give them the ball in a moment's time.
Trent Edwards to Jason Williams, beauty.
Doctors have now developed a new series of exercises to help players test their visual skills and enhance their peripheral vision.
We have to try and make an athlete better, and now they're looking at other ways. And eye-hand coordination is going to be a very, very big, important factor in the future.
Perhaps the best shooting eye in the league belongs to the Indiana Pacers' Reggie Miller, who we profiled last week. He is the star of the team, but he's not the only reason why they've been the surprise team of the playoffs.
The supporting cast includes guys like Rick Smits, Haywood Workman, and Dale and Antonio Davis. None of them are marquee names, but they've all been unsung heroes in the Pacers' drive to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now the entire country is finding out who they are. They're the team that has their fans in a frenzy, the NBA's hottest team, the Pacers.
We've had some wonderful stories on this team. Haywood Workman, kid that nobody wanted.
Miller leads the Indiana break. He has Workman. Got it.
It's become a starting point guard and a darn good one.
And the only sports topic in late May is the Indianapolis 500. And the Pacers haven't gone this far in the postseason since 1975. When, in case you're interested, I'll tell you.
More to this. I knew
they
there was more.
lost to the Kentucky Colonels in the ABA Finals.
Really? Marv called them the Kentucky Colonels.
Kentucky Colonels?
Yeah, he meant Kentucky Colonels. But anyway, you know, I was there last week, and they are having so much fun. The difference in locker rooms, in Atlanta's locker room, they were all quiet. In Indianapolis's locker room, these guys were having so much fun.
Time of their lives.
Larry Brown really has them going. Now, in our next segment, you'll see both Davises, Dale and Antonio, my favorite player, Antonio Davis.
Really?
They're not related. Plus a sensational dunk, Kevin Johnson throwing it down over Hakeem Olajuwon. That and all the other jams of the week in Jam Session.
Steph all the way for the dunk. Yeah!
In your face, Kevin Johnson.
Pippen putting the move on Oakley and goes around him.
Here's Steph to the hole.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You know he's not perfect, but on certain days in his life, he has been. The night he poured in 63 points, the time he crushed 3 home runs in the World Series, the day he found Dwight Clark in the end zone. And you wish at some point, at some moment in your life, you could be that perfect too. And that's why you cheer for him. That's why you believe in heroes.
McRae will inbound. 1 second on the clock. Sampson. It goes. It's over. A miraculous shot by Ron Sampson has given the Houston Rockets the Western Conference Championship.
We just wanted to get the ball in bounds and get a decent shot. And Rodney McRae threw the ball in bounds. I went down, turned around, and I knew kind of where it was in the back of my mind, so I put it towards the basket, and I got the lucky bounce and went in.
You know, now there's a team with a name that makes sense, the Houston Rockets, because of course NASA is based in Houston, but other team names don't make so much sense, like LA Lakers or Utah Jazz, although it made sense when it was the New Orleans Jazz. But you know, other teams, when they name their teams, they play it really safe and they go for an animal name, like, you know, Hawks, Bulls.
What else?
Bucks.
Yeah, that's a good one, too. But you know what else is a good name?
Speaking of animal names?
No, the Indiana Pacers is a good name.
Right.
The Indiana Pacers, not to be confused with the Indianapolis Pacers. You know, it can even be an animal that's been dead for millions of years. It can even, the
team
name.
team name.
Toronto has a new team, and their name is the Toronto Raptors.
What's a raptor?
Raptor is a dinosaur.
Okay.
Now, in the Name the Team contest, it beat out Bobcats, Dragons, and another dinosaur, which is, I like this one.
Oh, yeah?
The Torontosaurus Rex.
They lived over 85 million years ago, but they're coming back to play a little hoop.
Toronto is home to the Maple Leafs and the Blue Jays. Now there is a new team in town, and the first thing it needed was a name.
And here it is, the newest, freshest, and hungriest look in the NBA.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Raptors are born.
My guy. I'm one of those diehard fans who's waited as long as everyone else to get NBA basketball in Toronto. So this is a great moment for Canadians, Ontarians, and Torontonians.
The name and the logo were a big hit with the fans.
It's good. It's sort of like the Panthers, Sharks, Spiders. It'll be good. Scare the opponents away.
NBA in Toronto is #1.
It's good. Team merchandise was snapped up as Raptor Mania officially began.
Whether we're in Roppongi or whether we're walking down the Champs-Élysées, anything, you'll be seeing Raptor gear everywhere.
So what was your favorite name?
Raptors, great.
You like that?
Yeah, now that I know what they are.
Well, that's our show for today, but we'll be back tomorrow with a special edition for Draft Lottery Sunday. We'll talk to one of the top prospects, Cal point guard Jason Kidd, who takes pride in his defense.
I thrive on the challenge of going against an offensive player.
And I'll profile another prize pick, Grant Hill, who can't wait to get started in the NBA.
You want to make the most of it and have fun, and really be able to look back at all this stuff and really say you enjoyed it.
Stay tuned for NBA Showtime, followed by today's playoff doubleheader, 2 Game 7s in the Western Conference.
And we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
Twice. Once in...
Hotel accommodations furnished to NBA Inside Stuff by ITT Sheraton. ITT Sheraton. Our world revolves around you.
Sunday, it all comes down to this, the season finale of Sequel. This is the NBC Television Network.
Once I say I'm going to retire, it will be final, and I can never change my mind. I feel like in my heart that this will be my last season.
I'm a mad dog who's only concerned about winning.
With talk of retirement, winning is imperative for Charles Barkley today. In Game 7 against the Houston Rockets, a man driven to fulfill his only unrealized basketball ambition in what could very well be his last chance. While Barkley tries to fulfill his dream, the Denver Nuggets continue to live theirs. Their playoff run has captivated fans in Denver and points beyond. It began with an historic first-round upset of the Seattle Supersonics. And now, as a second act, Denver has come back from 3 games down in round 2 to force today's deciding contest with the Utah Jazz. So it's 7th heaven in the West, with the winners moving on to the conference final.
This is NBA Showtime. Here's your host, Bob Costas.
Game 7. No 2 words in sports create more anticipation. And we have 2 Game 7s today. First, it's the Suns and the Rockets from the Summit in Houston. And then it's out to Utah for Game 7 of the Jazz and the Nuggets. Denver trying to become the first NBA team to ever rebound from an 0-3 deficit and win a playoff series. Hello, everybody. Bob Costas in New York. What a great weekend this should be. 2 deciding games in the West today, another tomorrow in the East between the Knicks and the Bulls. That makes this conference semifinal round the most competitive in league history. 27 games out of a possible 28 will be played. Only Indiana and Atlanta went less than the limit. The early game today is in Houston. Game 7 of the Rockets and Suns, a series which has been tough to figure, as you know. The road team won the first 4 games, but the home team has taken the last 2. Barkley and the Suns nearly got to the NBA Summit last year. This year, they'll have to win at the Summit to keep their hopes alive. Marv Albert and Matt Gukas will call the game. Let's head out to them. Marvelous.
All right, Bob, first the injury rundown for the Houston Rockets. Otis Thorpe, who suffered that bruised hip on Thursday night, will play through it. He's all right, will be in the starting lineup. And for the Phoenix Suns, Charles Barkley, who was bothered by a pulled groin muscle. Also, not 100%, but good enough to play, and he is in the starting lineup. Earlier, we talked with Charles about his status.
I feel like I got a pulled groin, and but I have great confidence in the doctors, and my major concern is not to be in any pain during the game. And I don't care about the after effects. I just don't want to be in pain during this game.
Is it possible, in light of all your talk about retirement, that this could be your final game?
Well, I think that depends on what the doctor tells me after the season. I haven't been able to play the games in this series without taking injections, and I don't want to play like that anymore. And there's nothing they can do for me to make me feel better for next year. I'm not going to play. It's that simple. It's going to be strictly a medical decision.
Could Charles Barkley retire without a farewell tour?
Oh, yeah, I don't need that farewell stuff. I've collected enough gifts along the way. I'm happy with it.
Charles Barkley is battered and bruised, but his spirit and courage are still intact. I spent some time earlier with Charles, and he told me that he absolutely got no sleep. He has no idea how he's going to react to the pain-killing injection. Basically, Marv, his nerves are shot.
All right, it was 364 days ago that the Houston Rockets lost Game 7 of the Western semifinals in Seattle in overtime, and the Rockets are hoping to erase that memory with a victory over the Suns this afternoon. Let's get back to Bob.
All right, Marv, Suns and Rockets coming up, their Game 7 in about a half hour. There have been many stories of note in this NBA postseason, including the Indiana Pacers' run to the conference finals, but there's none bigger than the Denver Nuggets on the verge of making NBA history again. Some thought the Nuggets were, as the saying goes, just happy to be there. Well, there are some guys in Seattle who aren't so happy the Nuggets were there at all, and the Utah Jazz aren't exactly thrilled about it either.
I just can't believe. I don't know what can I say. I just can't believe that we won this game.
Pressure's going to be on Utah. We're just having a good time and working hard.
And they were camping out at McNichols, snapping up tickets for the Jazz series, their enthusiasm intact, even after a pair of losses in Utah.
I'm in the house of Mutombo. All right, yeah. Here comes Pat. To Ellis.
LaFonso Ellis helped the Nuggets overcome a 16-point deficit, but the Jazz prevailed in overtime, and they were on the verge of a series sweep.
Beat down by 3 is a really tough situation right now to rebuild.
We know we've got to have pretty much a miracle to win these next 4 games.
Reggie looking in bounds. Reggie throws to Mahmoud. Back to Reggie. Left side launching the J. Got it!
We haven't folded tents all year long, and you can't do it now.
I'll run down I-25 in a chicken suit if we pull this out.
Fakes to Jay on Bryant down the lane. Ball knocked away, stolen by Brian Williams. To Pack, back to Bryant, down the lane, and a dunk left-handed. The dream continues for the Denver Nuggets.
You just guaranteed you're going to win Game 6.
Definitely, we're going to come back here for Game 7.
Steps up, throws off the Hornacek. He'll shoot the three. No good. Rebound Chambers kept away. That's the ball game. The buzzer sounds. The Nuggets win it. We're going back to Salt Lake City, Utah for Game 7.
You guaranteed this one. What do you say for the next one?
He doesn't say anything.
Dan Issel wisely stepping in. Remember, the Nuggets were only 42-40 in the regular season. Their win over Seattle was the first time a number 8 seed had ever beaten a number 1. 6 times they faced elimination in these playoffs, and 6 times they've won. Statistically, no team has ever been as resilient in the NBA's postseason. With more now on the Nuggets and Jazz, off to the Delta Center, and here is Hannah Storm. Take it, Hannah.
Well, Bob, it's no surprise that the Utah Jazz are entering this game with an us-against-the-world mentality, because they're fully aware that fans everywhere have been captivated by the Cinderella story of the Denver Nuggets, and they're using that as motivation this afternoon. Meanwhile, for the young Nuggets, they're barely aware of their place in NBA history, much less their increasing popularity.
I don't think we really know it. I don't think it's very real to us yet. We know back home in Denver, the fan support has been just overwhelming, and we've been trying to deliver for them. We go home on our home floor. We take a lot of pride in winning on our home floor, and our fans have just been great. But in terms of the Cinderella story, I don't think we paid it very much attention. It would be a nice story after the season's over, but we're just trying to take care of business now.
Sometimes I just don't believe. I say, are we still winning? We keep going. You know, we just don't know when we're going to pack our bag, and maybe we're going to pack our bag in June. Nobody knows.
While the Nuggets are a great story, on the other hand, we have the sideshow here in Salt Lake City of Jazz owner Larry Miller, who will not be attending today's game after an altercation with Denver fans during Game 5, a game in which he also called for the benching of his star Karl Malone. The friction between Malone and Miller continues to make headlines here.
when things are going great, everybody's on the bandwagon, but when they go tough, everybody sort of jump off, and you hear all kind of stuff. And in this business, that's part of it. And that's the kind of stuff that run players away from the game. It's not the game itself. It's all the games that are played within that run players away. Because you just say to yourself, you know, I've given it all I could give for an organization or a team, and then I get this or whatever, so the hell with it, basically, you know.
Karl Malone told us yesterday that Miller's actions have pushed him towards a decision which he will announce after the season is through. And Karl Malone implied that he will indeed demand a trade from the Utah Jazz when the season's over. That's the story from Salt Lake City. Let's send it back to Bob in New York.
All right, Hannah, thanks a lot. As just about everybody knows, no team in NBA history has ever come back from an 0-3 deficit to win a series, which is what Denver is trying to do today at Utah. In fact, only one other team ever even came back to force a Game 7 from an 0-3 hole. Way back in 1951, before the 24-second clock, the Knicks were down 0-3 to the Rochester Royals, forced a Game 7, but Rochester won it. And to give you an idea of how things have changed, it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and it was played on April 21st of that year. In the East, Indiana is in the conference final after beating Atlanta in 6. Their opponent will be either New York or Chicago. The Bulls forced tomorrow's Game 7 by trouncing the Knicks last night at Chicago Stadium. The Bulls jumped out quickly in the first quarter thanks to solid team defense. Here off a Knick turnover, it's Luke Longley to Tony Kukoc to B.J. Armstrong, 2 of B.J.'s team-high 20. Chicago was up 13 at the end of 1. Derek Harper back in the Knick lineup following his 2-game suspension, came off the bench to score 11. But the Knicks had their problems. Greg Anthony here with a nice pass to the cameraman. Scottie Pippen scored only 13, but he had a message for Patrick Ewing on this sequence, as well as one for filmmaker/Knick fan Spike Lee. After the game, Spike telling Scottie, "See you in New York," where he can only hope the Knicks will do the right thing in Game 7.
Just didn't get the job done, and they just beat it to the punch. They was more hungry than we was.
We let them out-rebound us. I'm disappointed in the fact that I let Luke Longley and Bill Cartwright get 8 offensive rebounds between them.
I think every game in Madison Square Garden we feel like we could have won, so maybe, you know, the fourth time lucky.
They've had their 3 home games, now game number 7. We're going into a neutral zone as far as we care.
If there's no home court advantage, then why don't we just play here? You know, if there is one, you know, but if you have a choice, I'll play it in New York.
And Game 7 is in New York, and it is tomorrow here on NBC. Showtime at 3 Eastern, tip-off at 3:30 at Madison Square Garden, and the home team has won all 6 games in the series. In fact, the home team has won 14 straight Game 7s. The last time a road team won a 7th game was 1982, when the Sixers beat the Celtics at Boston Garden in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now up next, the man who smiles in the face of adversity, Nuggets coach Dan Issel joins us live from Salt Lake City when NBA Showtime continues.
NBA Showtime is brought to you by New Light Ice from Miller, the first, the only ice-brewed, less-filling beer.
The Delta Center in Salt Lake, where the Nuggets and Jazz will play Game 7 a little less than 3 hours from now. Who would have thought it?
We're going to get a chance to play in the NBC. Maybe NBC being good for us.
I know one thing. When NBC left here last Saturday, they didn't think they'd see us again.
Well, I guess that's true. You were down 0-3, Dan.
Even if Utah wins today and they go on, they will have known that they've been in a dogfight in this series.
You said earlier that the ABA title you won in '75 with the Kentucky Colonels was your #1 thrill. Suppose you won today and got to the conference final. Would this supplant that as a player?
No, because winning championships is what it's all about. Individual goals, individual statistics, individual honors aren't as important as the team. And the only thing that will surpass winning an ABA championship will be winning an NBA championship.
Is the Nuggets winning the NBA title thinkable?
I don't know if it is this year. You know, there's still an awful lot of good teams left, and we might be done here in 2 or 3 hours. But I think it certainly is thinkable in a few years down the road.
Dan, great to talk to you. Good luck today.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, the Nuggets and the Jazz will tip off at 3:35 Eastern Time. Game 1, the Rockets and the Suns. Up next, we'll hear from the defending Western Conference champions. That's next when our playoff coverage continues.
You've got the winning color. Make your engine
last longer. Change your oil every 3,000 miles and use the newest Pennzoil. Now with the revolutionary Pennstar molecule, Pennzoil works like liquid ball bearings, clings in, on, around, and between moving parts to reduce heat, friction, and wear.
Pennzoil just keeps getting better and better.
Makes me feel even better about using it in my car.
Pennzoil says it works like liquid ball bearings, and if they say it, I'll believe it.
Still using a full commission broker? You could be missing out on a lot. Like a broker who's available anytime you want, or state-of-the-art investment software that's easy to use. To get both, trade up to Schwab. At Charles Schwab, you can manage your investments around the clock. And Street Smart software lets you place trades, get quotes, even research stocks. And at Schwab, you'll enjoy low commissions, too.
For a better way to trade up to Schwab.
Oh, hi. You know, this week, all Goodyear Eagles for performance cars and all Goodyear Wranglers for light trucks are on sale. Heck, I think this says it all. On sale Wranglers, Eagles, Goodyear, all on.
East of the Texas Hill Country in Austin, there's a place that just won't let you go home hungry. It's called Threadgill's. And here you might find yourself behind a great big chicken fried steak, a mountain of red beans and rice, or even a microphone. So if you go, bring your appetite for a good time and your Visa card. Because Threadgill's might let you take the stage, but they won't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Sunday at 7, 6 Central. Witness the magic behind your favorite movies. The Wizards of Special Effects take you into the past and back to the future.
Nobody can hear you scream.
With never-before-seen footage you're gonna love.
Sheer magic. Extraordinary.
Sequest's Roy Scheider and Jonathan Brandis, Masters of Illusion. NBC Sunday.
It's been a difficult year in many ways for Charles Barkley. Last year's MVP has missed 17 games due to knee and back problems, but still the Suns won 56 in the regular season. Now today's game is obviously a crossroad for the Suns franchise. Barkley has maintained that because he's so run down physically, this could very well be his last season. And without him, Phoenix would be hard-pressed to make a title run and would have to make serious adjustments. The Suns then are a team playing with urgency, and Marianne Grabavoy has more.
We will find a way to win this game.
They're a team that revels in pushing it to the brink. In the last 2 years alone, the Suns have faced elimination from the playoffs 7 times. 6 times they have clung to the precipice. And now, like a phoenix from the ashes, the Suns have risen once again.
Charles has this line that he says you don't drive your Rolls Royce to the 7-Eleven to get a loaf of bread. And so he feels he's the Rolls Royce, and that the games that don't have us on the brink, he just feels like that's just a milk run. So he's always been ready for the big games, and we expect a big showing from him Saturday.
Last year, I was witnessing that. You know, the Lakers, I was playing for the Lakers, and we had them down 2-0. And, you know, their back was against the wall, and they just came out swinging. You're like, what is the deal with them? You know, composure, poise, confidence, you know, they should have went over the edge, but, you know, they kept it together. And I noticed that this year now that those same kind of guys, they have a hunger, they have a thirst. And when they do get their backs against the wall, they don't say, I quit.
KJ, what is it about this team? You guys just seem to love to take it to the brink.
We're going to blame it on Charles Barkley. Charles, I don't think anybody successfully lives on the edge more than or better than Charles Barkley. So I think he takes our team to the edge and then usually pulls us out.
You know, I've been up 3-1. I've been down 3-2. I've lost the first 2 at home. I've won the first 2 at home and lost. So you have to finish them out. And every game is different. Every game is different in the playoffs.
After winning the first 2 games in Houston, everyone thought the Suns would come home to Phoenix and finish the Rockets off. But Akeem and company didn't fold. Instead, they won 3 straight and left the Suns reeling. But in Game 6, Charles Barkley wasn't ready to concede, nor was he ready to retire.
He said at the end of the fourth quarter, when I came out the ballgame, he's not ready to retire. And if that's the case, then we really expect a big performance out of him.
That's what he told you guys?
That's what he told me. He said, I'm not ready to retire yet. So he's second-guessing himself. That means that we need to win the series and move on.
I'm really not too concerned about the future of my body. I mean, I'm not going to worry about myself 10 years from now. If this is it for me, I want to go out in style and say, hey, I left it out there.
The Suns, so close to an NBA championship last year, know so well the concept of just one more game. And so it is, to the brink and back, all or nothing in Game 7.
We still have another game to win, and it's going to be very difficult. And, you know, we got a good chance. We're in a position where yesterday we wanted to be, and a couple weeks ago we really didn't want to be, and having to go into Houston and win a tough game.
Every man on this team has to really do a little soul searching, a little gut check, and say, hey, if it's to be, it's up to me. And that's really the attitude that you have to take in a Game 7.
You know, people try to make this stuff brain surgery. It's not. The team that performs the best under the spotlight is the team that's going to win.
Well, this is why kids play basketball. Kids are in the backyard. They're dreaming about Game 7 NBA playoffs. And, you know, when it comes down to this, you just have to go out there and do the best you can. And if the other team wins, you shake their hand and say, you guys are better than us. But they're going to have to do some playing for us to say that.
And the playing starts almost right away. Coming up, a pair of Game 7s beginning in Houston with the Rockets and the Suns. Either Barkley or Olajuwon goes home for the offseason after today. Marv Albert and Matt Guokas will bring that one to you. The winner, of course, advances to the Western Conference Final to play the winner of Denver and Utah. Dick Enberg and Snapper Jones will call that one. We'll have a report on Nugget Mania at halftime of the first game. The NBA playoffs on NBC continue after these messages from your local station.
Imagine TV's Urkel living out his fantasy to play with the New York Knicks.
Amazing performance for Jaleel.
Crystal Bernard becomes a star astronaut.
Roger, awesome copy.
Brian Austin Green creates a little magic, and Sinbad gets in deep with dolphins.
This is better than when I got on Starship.
Fantasies of the Stars, NBC tonight.
We Told Sports with Fred Rogan, Sunday at 11:20 here on Channel 4.
A cop murdered in the line.
Well, I used to walk around with my eyes on fire.
Sometimes the fire burns bright in Charles Barkley. Sometimes it does not. Perhaps the sports world's most complicated role model. Some say he carries the NBA's mantle. Today, he just needs to carry his Phoenix Suns. Team success has been directly linked to Barkley's individual success. While his failures have put this once sure-win series in peril, now the ultimate NBA pressure cooker awaits, a deciding Game 7. Sure, you can laugh in the face of sudden death, but will that fire burn bright today?
We're going to go down shooting, and we're going to make sure there's no bullets left in our gun when it's over with.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1994 NBA playoffs. Today, it's the Phoenix Suns versus the Houston Rockets.
Yes, this is certainly the clutch game of the series. Better than 16,000, a capacity crowd at the Summit. Houston fans embracing the Rockets for the 7th and deciding game of the Western Conference semifinal. And the home team has won 14 consecutive 7s. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert, along with Matt Guokas. And Matt, the last time that a visiting team won a Game 7 was back in 1982, Philadelphia 7.